Raise your hand if you ever worked for free. Keep it up if you worked for free every single day for hours. You can put your hands down. But I'm not talking about internships or exposure or doing it for the passion. I'm talking about right now, this moment. You and this little rectangle, you're in an abusive relationship. And yes, I do that too. I'm 16 and I'm not immune to this. But let me tell you a story about the day I became a millionaire. Well, I didn't, but I learned something far more valuable than that. 6 months ago, I tried to build an AI, a real AI, something that could predict human behavior. Why? Honestly, boredom. And now before you roll your eyes and think, oh great, another tech bro teenager, trust me, I know. I'm aware of the irony. A 16-year-old giving a TED talk about AI is peak 2025 cliché. But I'm not even interested in computer science. All the syntax and debugging, it truly gives me headaches. I didn't build an AI because I love coding. I built it because some things only make sense from the inside. And the only way to know here is to build the thing. So I wasn't trying to be a Stanford prodigy or Elon Musk. I was just curious, how hard can it be? Turns out, not that hard. After a few weeks, I had neural network and pattern recognition done. And it worked. Well, kind of. I had 73% accuracy in predicting whether someone would click on an ad based on their search history and other metrics, which is not bad for someone who hates programming. But ChatGPT got 94%, Claude got 96%, and mine only 73%. I could not figure out why. The architecture was solid, the algorithms were a textbook. So what was I missing? Most people would say probably funding, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. I found it in an OpenAI research paper. Model performance scales logarithmically with data volume, not computational power. Which means it's not about better code. It's about how much your AI knows. So ChatGPT was built with hundreds of thousands of gigabytes of text. My AI, honestly, like 2 or 3 gigabytes. So I did what any rational person would do. I tried to buy more data. But what I found was these data brokers I found were perfectly happy to sell you to me, a 16-year-old with a suspicious amount of questions. These are real quotes from real companies. You have never heard of them, but they definitely heard of you. 30,000 consumer profiles go for 750 euros. 100,000 location data go for 2,500 euros. Even medical data. Medical indicators go for 1,000 euros. That's 0.4 cents for each person. So picture this. I was sitting there, debit card in hand, thinking, wait, if I can buy you, where does this money go? And there's an invoice, money changes hands, so where is your cut? That question sent me down a rabbit hole. I learned the term behavioral surplus extraction, which is a fancy way of saying legal stalking. What I found was so absurd, so genuinely dystopian, that I laughed. Then I stopped laughing because the math is terrifying. Every time you scroll and pause, they measure it. Not if you scroll, but for how long. 0.3 seconds on puppies versus 2.3 seconds on sad news map your emotional state. And those emotions are predictive. When you're sad, you buy more. And when you're anxious, you click more. When you feel lonely, you subscribe more. Even your typing is tracked. Slow means uncertain and limited time offers. Fast means confident and premium products. Right now, in the big 2025, you generate about 250 euros of data per year. But in the year 2000, that number was 0. By 2040, we could look at generated data value of 10,000 euros per year. Over a lifetime, this is $300,000 to $1.5 million, which is basically the statistical human life by the UN. But you might be thinking, I don't feel exploited. Netflix recommends perfectly. Spotify reads my soul. Exactly. That is the genius of it. George Orwell imagined forced surveillance, but he fundamentally lacked imagination. Why forced surveillance when you can make people pay for the privilege of being watched? Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, you're being watched, processed, and ultimately sold. So back to my AI. I tried this on myself with just my search history, typing patterns, and location history. It guessed when I'd go to sleep, when I'd be stressed, what I'd search for next, and so much more. And this with 87% accuracy. This was just with my tiny tools, my limited knowledge, my limited data. So imagine what Amazon can do. I have 3 questions for you. I don't have an answer to them, but I hope you do. If your data value could reach 10,000 euros per year and you get none, is that theft or just business? Stand up if it's theft. Stay up. If algorithms, stay up. If algorithms predict your choices, are you really choosing? If you're choosing, stay up. What happens to human dignity when the exhaust fumes of our existence are worth more than our existence itself? Tell me how you think, and I'll show you what you think. And then I will sell it to the highest bidder. This is the principle Meta, Google, and Amazon work by. During this conference, you will generate about 15 cents of data. Doesn't sound like much, but multiply that by the next 60 years. And where does this money go? This money goes everywhere except to the people who create the value, which is you. I'm standing here telling you you're worth less than the data you produce. But there's hope. Systems built on invisible power collapse when people see the strings. So start paying attention to the things that pay attention to you. And once you see it, you won't unsee it again. Thank you.